the Eagles may have been a bigger disaster than Dallas. I can't believe I'm actually saying this right now, because when you look at Nick Sirianni having coached this team to the playoffs, coached them to a Super Bowl, being on the hot seat, it would have seemed laughable a few weeks ago. But the way the Eagles collapsed was something to see in real time, to the point where Troy Aikman was basically calling the team out on the broadcast. The thing with Dallas, I think, is more just like, is Dak quite good enough? Or are they quite good enough? It didn't look the same as far as it being this deflating, embarrassing flameout.
I think the problem for Philly is it's not just an organizational problem, it's a personnel problem too. When I look at Dallas, I still feel like they have the right pieces. I don't think they have the right person in charge as a head coach. I think the owner is a little bit too involved, but they still have the right bodies. Like, they've drafted very well. They're good both on the offensive line, defensive line, and on the back end on the defense. They have a lot of really good skill positions. I'm not sold at running back, but when you got CD and you got Dak and then you got Micah, they have a lot of pieces. What Philly was really concerning is that the organization is having issues. I think the owner's too involved. I think Howie made some bad decisions during the offseason, and then you take it down to the coach. If you're not going to call plays, then you have to do something. You got to be great at something. And the Eagles were terrible in situations and game management. That's supposed to be Nick Sirianni's bag, and they were terrible at it. So in that case, then your head coach isn't doing anything. And then go to personnel. They have nobody on defense. Their defensive line was supposed to be one of the best groups on that defense, and guess what? They didn't do much for most of the year, especially the latter half of the year. And then you go on offense. As talented as that offense is on paper, they underachieved by a lot. So now you leave this season thinking like, all right, I don't even know where to start when it comes to correcting the problems with Philly. At least with Dallas, you know where to start.
Well, look, I mean, I'm not saying that Mike McCarthy is going to keep his job or anything, or, even what's going to happen with that quarterback position. But they have had some measure of success consistently, and Jerry Jones is actually more patient than he probably gets credit for, just because they're covered more often. It was the Eagles who made the change away from Doug Peterson not that long ago. So which team is more likely to make a move? I might lean Philly special.
I agree. And if you look at when Doug got let go, they didn't necessarily want to fire Doug, but because the owner wanted to make decisions on who his assistants were and Doug wasn't with it, Doug was going. I'm sure they're probably going to go to Nick at some point in the offseason and say, hey, listen, if you want to stay here, these are the coordinators we want you to have. If Nick's not with it, they'll be going. When you got guys, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I feel like it's really going to be a struggle for Philly for the next couple months.
They got fans throwing popcorn at him and everything.